Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello, my lovely pig people. Welcome to the very first episode of the Pig Purpose podcast. I am so excited that you have joined us today and you are in for a treat. So, this is our very first episode of this podcast, as I just mentioned. And today we will just be sharing the inspiration, the idea, the vision for this channel, what is to come, what you can expect, and also just a little bit of background about myself and my pig, Morty. So, I invite you all to take a deep breath with me. And let us begin. So in this podcast, the vision is that I will be sharing my experience with Morty. And this is just everything speaking about like knowledge about pigs, what to do with your pet pig, how to communicate with your pig, how to best care for your pig. And this is all coming from my own knowledge of me being with Morty and the two of us just being best friends since he was a little piglet. So I'm so excited to really just share my knowledge with everybody out there. And also, this is very, very exciting. I am going to be connecting with many other pig parents and also pig sanctuary owners and things like that. So you will have the chance on this podcast, you'll have the opportunity to listen to many people's perspectives when it comes to pigs and raising pigs and, just pigs in general. This is called the Pig Purpose Podcast because I believe that pigs are here for an amazing, great, big purpose. So, I love to call it the Pig Purpose. So, welcome to the Pig Purpose Podcast. I am Laney, I am your host, and my pig is Morty. He is currently outside on the front porch. So, so that is the vision for this channel, is to connect with other pig parents, pig owners, pig sanctuary owners, and really just collaborate, talk about, what we've best figured out for our pig when it comes to even like skincare and toys and how to handle discipline in your pig and all things like this. And so I thought I would start out this podcast, episode 1 of this podcast, by sharing with you my background with Morty. So if you have been following Morty the pig for a while, you know that him and I have been best friends for so long. And I just love him so, so much. Like, Morty just makes me smile. I love talking about him. I love thinking about him. I dream about him. I swear we have a telepathic connection. It is just like, because the two of us have really been like two peas in a pod for the last however many years. I don't put a number on the years, but him and I are just like this is us. Because at first, when I got Morty, I lived in a duplex and I was not allowed to have pets where I lived. However, I did already have a cat, and the girl who lived there before me said that she had a dog. So she was like, it's fine. Just like, don't tell the landlord, and, everything will be okay. So I was like, okay. So back to the beginning of Morty. So this all happened when at the time, I was a technical designer and a fabric designer at this company. I don't know if I should mention the name or not, but it was called, let me just not, just in case. I don't know about legal stuff yet. So when it comes to podcasting. So I was at work at the time designing pig leggings. And it was so cute. They were like, let's do a farm collection because I actually designed leggings and dresses for girls and mommy and me matching things and things like that. So I was designing the fabric with these little pigs just jumping in the mud puddles. And it was so, so cute. I still love that fabric. I still have those leggings to this day. Um, but so I was there designing the pig leggings on the computer on Adobe Illustrator, and my coworker at the time, her dog had just had puppies. And she was like, "You should really get a puppy, Laney." And I was like, I really don't want a puppy because puppies are just a lot to deal with. They chew up things, they destroy things, they pee in the house. Plus, it was kind of cold outside. I was like, I don't want to go out in the cold to bring my dog out to the bathroom and like go through potty training, especially in the winter time. And I was sitting there designing these pig leggings, and I was like, "You know what, though? I have always thought that pet pigs are the cutest things, like little teacup pigs, you know?" As far as I knew at the time, I was like, "I've always wanted a teacup pig, but I never knew where to get a teacup pig." So I was like, "Where do you get a little piglet?" And then, because I remember, like, being a little girl, like, seeing the trucks of pigs just, like, go by, and I would just, like, stare at them. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're so, so cute." And I just always thought pigs were so adorable. So, where do you go to find a piglet at the time? I was like, "You know where you find everything is Craigslist." So, I went on Craigslist that same day. I was scrolling through listings of pet pigs that were for sale. So, I started educating myself, really researching a lot into pigs before I actually got one. So some of the things I learned were that pigs are very vocal, which I was not aware of, because I had never been around pigs. I had no idea, and in the movies and things, I had seen little micro pigs. And, so I went through learning that micro pigs do not exist. They are piglets and they grow into not full-size farm pigs, but, like, they grow up. They don't stay teeny tiny forever. So, I was like, "Okay, that's a thing. I wanna make sure that he is going to grow up not too big that I can't handle him, but, a good decent size." And so I knew he was gonna grow up. I knew that he would be loud. So I was like, "Okay, let me, like, make sure that my neighbor is cool with it, because I said I lived in a duplex, so I, like, checked with her that she was okay with it. She was like, "Yeah, girl, that's fine. Go get a pig." I was like, "Okay, cool. I will." So, I actually went to the first place I went to was this cute little farm where she had a bunch of pigs just eating and nibbling, and at the time, I was just like, I I went to see this little piglet named Daisy, and she's a cute little cutie piglet with the little waddles, and I was like, I liked her and she was cute, but I was looking at her parents at the time, and they were just, like, maybe like 175, 100 pounds. And I was like, I won't be able to travel with that pig. I won't be able to pick up that pig, at least at the time, So I was like, let me just, kind of like keep looking, but I will keep you in mind. And Daisy was such a little cutie. She really, really was. Um, so yeah, so I kept looking. The next day, I found a pig. Actually, I think there was another pig in between there. And then I was finally about to give up on my pig dream because I was like, I don't want like a huge pig in my house. I love them. I think they're cute, but I'm not like fit to handle that at this point in my life. So I was scrolling through, and I saw this cute little piglet in this picture on Craigslist cuddling a baby who was wearing a Eeyore onesie. So it was like the cutest thing. This baby was tiny, this piglet was even tinier, and it was like cute and white with like a few little gray spots, and I was like, "Okay, this pig is sweet. He is a cuddle bug, I can already tell." And he was already smaller than the piglets that I had seen anywhere else. So I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "Let me go see this pig." So I did, it all worked out. My coworker who I just mentioned, she actually came with me, drove up to Virginia with me after work one day, and we picked up this pig. I didn't really get to, like, talk to the parents or anything at all. Um, so Morty at the time, his name was actually Piglet. So and I wish I knew where he came from, but they were actually his second home. Well, they were his first home after the breeder, so I was his second home. And they said that they could not keep Morty because basically their neighbors were going to tell on them and they were not allowed to have pigs where they live. Because in a lot of cities, inside the city limits, you cannot own a pig. So they were like, "Yeah, we can't own this pig and we have to get rid of it. Like, unfortunately, he's really sweet." So I was like, "Okay." So anyways, I went up there. I did not get to talk to this family long at all because they were dealing with a child who was sick and they were just like kind of going through a lot. So they're like, "Oh, hi, you're here." They like forgot I was even coming. They're like, "I'm glad we were here. And here's the piglet." So I was like, "Okay, thank you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's so cute." They're like, "Okay, we gotta go." So I was like, "Okay." So I was just handed this piglet and and then so it was so cute. So my friend at the time, I had put him in a cage in the back seat. On our way home, he started squealing at one point. I was like, "Okay, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he will not stop squealing." So we pulled over on the side of the road. My friend picked him up in like his blanket and next thing I know, she's like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, "He just peed on me." I was like, "Oh, that's why he was screaming, because he had to pee. He is so smart already." But she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm covered in pig pee." So, anyways, that was all fine. We dealt with the situation and got home. I brought him home, put him on the carpet in my little duplex, and first thing I set him down, I had gotten him a little piglet toy, a little stuffed pig, and it was tiny just like him. So I thought he was, like, playing with it. He was, like, pushing it around with his nose a little bit, and then he, like, got on the carpet and, like, just stood perfectly still with his little tail out. I was like, "Oh, he is posing." I had no idea, so I, like, took a cute little picture of him. And then I realized after he moved that, oh, he was peeing. So that's a thing I learned. Pigs like to pee on carpet, on something soft that feels like grass if they are not accessible to grass. So, anyways, Morty and I just went through our life together. We ate a lot of food together. I made him salads. I remember there was a snow day. I made us both pancakes. And like him and I were just like two peas in a pod. And I did have a cat named Marilyn at the time. And it worked out perfectly. Like pigs and cats get along great because the cat, she was like somewhat checking him out, but also like kind of not really trying to check him out too much. And that's what Morty likes about cats is that cats are kind of standoffish. They want to get to know him, but not too quickly, as opposed to dogs who are just like, "Hi, let me smell your butt. Let me find out who you are. Let's play." And that's just like a lot of energy for Morty. He prefers cat-like animals, cat-like creatures. So, so anyways, he is a very peaceful pig, and so him and the cat got along great. They mostly minded their own business, but they would sometimes like touch little noses, and Morty would be like, "Arr, arr, arr." That's the little like sound he makes when he kisses. So him and my cat and me, we were just like a little trio in my house. And so I remember like looking up toys to get for Morty, and a lot of pig people recommended this like pin, like this play pin with those little plastic balls in it. They were like, "Yeah, just put things in there, let them root around." So I was like, "Okay." I put Morty, like, in there with a few balls, and he was just, like, not having it. He just wanted to get out of there. So I was like, "Okay, that didn't work out as I expected." But my cat ended up playing with it, so, win-win. And yeah, so basically, we went on walks every day after work. I would take Morty to the park so he could graze and eat the grass and eat the clover and socialize. And I would like post little pictures of him on Instagram and then like all the things and like all the other pigs' pictures while we were at the park. So that was kind of like our daily routine. I would go to work, come home, let him outside, and like bring him to the park, and we'd hang out there for an hour or two until it got dark and chilly, and then we'd come back home. And yeah, so that was like Morty and I's life for a while, and it was really fun. I look back on those days, I reminisce. It was fun. And so, one thing about Morty at the time, he did also have like a pea patch inside. So, I had taken Morty to my parents' house, and they had just gotten a puppy. So they had one of those like little, grass patches that you bring inside, and your puppy is supposed to be like potty training on this like grass patch of fake grass. So Morty, he was at the house. He just walked over to that little grass patch and went pee. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So they were like, "Well, our dog has not been using it, so you can have that." So that's what I used for honestly, I still use it. But for the longest time when I was working and gone for a lot of the day, I would put the little grass patch out so he would just go in, go pee whenever he needed to. He loved it. It worked out perfectly for us. So I totally recommend that if you're looking for like a litter box type thing, because I did try to set up a litter box, however, Morty didn't like it. And they say do not put cat litter in the litter box, to put things like cedar or some type of like shavings and like dirt, even like leaves, things like that from outside, even. So I did all that, but he was not about it. He really liked this pea patch though. So that is what works for us. I still have it like on the front porch, on the back porch, so he can be on the porch because he can't go down the stairs. So if he has to potty when he's on the porch, he'll use that. And he just doesn't potty inside anymore. So yeah, so that's us. And then, so if you guys are not aware, Morty and I actually own Morty's Pig Clothes, which is the clothing company that has been around for some years now. And this all began, I get this question all the time, so I thought I would just share a little bit of background about the business with you guys. Because when Morty was a little piglet and we were living in this duplex, when it got cold outside, because I got him in like March, April ish. So he was like fine to go outside all winter, I mean, all spring, all summer, all fall. Like he was fine outside. And then the winter time came around and it started getting cold. And Morty, I would try to let him out before I went to work. He would like stand at the doorway and he would not go outside. Like, he was like, "No." He, like, screamed. He'd be like, "Eh," turn around. He was like, "It is too cold out there." So, I was like, "Okay, what do I do about this?" Morty needs to go outside. So, I got this idea in my mind, like, "Oh, I could make him a sweater." Like, I am a seamstress. I went to school for fashion. I make clothes for everybody. Why don't I make a cute little sweater for my pig? And maybe, just maybe, it'll help him go outside and, just to go pee and come back in, if nothing else. So the next day after work, I went to the fabric store and I got this cute navy blue knitted like material. So I came home, I sewed him up a little sweater, I took his measurements and everything, and made him this cute little blue sweater. and I put it on him. It had armholes in it, so it, like, slipped over his neck. I put his little arms in the armholes, and I opened the door, and he just happily trotted outside. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." So I, like, let him out there, and he grazed out there for, like, an hour. Like, the cold was not even bothering him, not even a little bit. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." Like, Morty is going outside, and he's actually enjoying it. And he loves his sweater, like, I felt like such a proud, like, mom moment. I was like, "He loves his sweater. I love this." So, Morty came back inside, and I was like, "Oh, Morty, I'm so happy that you love your sweater and that you stayed outside and that you're happy." That's really all I wanted was for him to be happy. So anyways, so he came back inside, and this idea just came to my mind. I was like, what if there's another pig out there who needs a sweater and their mom can't make it a sweater? So I feel like Morty almost told me this, but maybe it was just an idea that came to my mind. I was like, let me take a picture of Morty in his sweater and post it on Etsy, just in case there's another pig out there who we can help. So that's that's how it all began. I took a picture of Morty, posted it on Etsy. I also created a t-shirt design at the time that said, "I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a pig mom." So that was really cute. So I posted those two things on Etsy. And then next thing I know, I also posted a scarf for a pig. That was like those were like my first 3 items was a scarf and a t-shirt and a pig sweater. So, I believe it was a little bit of time before we, like, sold anything, and of course, I wasn't, like, planning to, like, make this a business or anything. I was just like, maybe I can help out another pig out there. So, anyways, I eventually got an order, I believe. And then, I would be like, "Send me your custom measurements," and people wouldn't send the custom measurements, and this was, like, the first few orders, so I was like, "Oh, I don't know what size to make this sweater." So, eventually, everything evolved, and so I got a few requests for instead of, like, a slip over the head and armhole sweater, to make one with fleece and, like, Velcro straps around the neck and the belly. So that's I did a couple custom orders of that one, and then yeah, so the next winter came around, and I think I got another custom request for the fleece strap sweater, basically. So then I started making that style of sweater, and that became, like, the best-selling sweater that we've had up to that point, because obviously it was a new thing. But yeah, it was so cool because it was like the first year I posted it, I got a few little orders. And I was so happy that, people came back and they were like, "Yeah, my pig stayed outside and he was so much warmer and so much more happy." And I was like, "Oh, yay." So that was just fun, a fun little venture that we went on. And basically, like, every winter, it would, like, grow more and more. We'd make more and more pig sweaters every winter, and then until it became a thing, and I was finally like, "I can't work a full-time job and do this anymore, because I literally went, like, probably 3 winters in a row working full-time hours making pig sweaters, and it would only be in the winter and working full-time at my technical design job. So, a few winters of, like, not sleeping and constantly, like, making pig clothes, then going to work, and then coming back and making pig clothes, then going to sleep for a little bit. And that was, like, my cycle every winter. But of course, like, it was slowed down in the summer. But we also make summer clothes for pigs now, which is we've been doing that a few years now. But yeah, so summer clothes are also important for pigs to have because pigs can get sunburned in the sun. So it's really important that they have summer clothes to protect them from getting sunburned. So yeah, that's our story about our business and Morty's Pig Clothes. You can find us. And recently, I've just been very inspired to start a podcast of pig purpose. And honestly, at first, this wasn't even going to be a podcast. I was like, I just want to raise awareness of pigs, make some little cute short videos and reels and things like that to post and like share just like little knowledge and little pointers about pigs and having a pig. And also like make it cute but relatable and also like sharing knowledge. So that was like the initial vision. And then it kind of like transformed into this podcast. So now here I am doing this podcast. And yeah, so I'm excited for the future of this podcast. And I look forward to connecting with all of you, really like creating this community. So make sure that you follow and like and subscribe and share and all the things. And yeah, we will be going live every Sunday. We will be doing a podcast episode. I can't promise that it will be live every Sunday, but that's the plan. So, live every Sunday, Instagram, YouTube, and yes. So, thank you for joining me on this very first podcast episode of Pig Purpose. I hope you are also excited about the future, the vision, and also just kind of got to know a little bit more about Morty and I. So, we love you. Thank you all for joining us. Pig love, everybody. Things falling down. And